This episode of Speakers of Hydaelyn is made possible by our generous patrons, like Cat Comet, Saray Cypher, Hans Grenade, Anna Ginteres, Bob Cece, Faris Gentoru, Cletus Oreo, Luke Leonetrell, Sapa Chakwatol, Courtney, Circa Barakil, Casey Schaefer, Lily Black, Chaitan, Cheshire Soltiri, Erisu Yamakawa, Cecilia Fulalirifu, Daimos, Nina Grimsdaughter, Asuta Starbreeze, Quick Levin, Sayori Snowfall, Ignal the Dragon, Uana Nitsa, Miscellaneous Cargo, Duke Jarlsberg, Stella Bell, Yernthora Aurora, Boogie Bear, Remy Asalia, Cirrus, Icy Lee, Lyria Rain, CNG Lipscomb, Dalamud Papodo, Kaisa Regina, Pamela Isley, Umbral Wind, and Velina Evensong. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/speakersxiv. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Hydaelyn.
Good evening, Aorstians. Welcome to Speakers of Hydaelyn episode 157. I'm Lukeil Bravestone, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston with his straw and Malavanadar with his Sylvester Stallone face. Welcome to episode 157, everyone. There are no big news today, but we are finally going to catch up on all our MogMail. That's our main story. It's a MogMail special. There's also, of course, recent events, which we'll get to in a second. And we'll also do the great discussion today, and we will continue our discussion from a couple of weeks ago. What's next? This time we will talk about Elidibus on the moon. So stay tuned for that. In channel updates, I'm sorry about this fucking Alag episode of Roar. I've found stuff that I wanted to re-add into the... I'm very annoying when it comes to making videos, because I'm like, okay, this one goes out. This is the finished product. Then I watch it, and I'm like, kind of want to add something else in there. So I do that. Although it is done now, so it only needs final checks and render.
I feel like it's been about 2 months now.
It
not
has been
not
2
even
months.
as an exaggeration of you teasing. Honestly, guys, this is the week.
Yeah, this is...
So don't get your hopes up, anyone.
Don't get your... Yeah, but I mean, everyone knows by this point that they should never get their hopes up. But they should know that the video will be out eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Or not.
Remember when you used to put an episode out a week and you killed yourself to do it?
Yeah. And subsequently sort of watered out the whole series. The series... Yeah. I've talked about this before, but when I made the episode, specifically the episode with the cactus basin, I thought, when I watched it after it had been uploaded, to make sure that I had uploaded the right video, I'm like, why am I doing this? I would never watch this video. Anyways, that's why it's taking longer, because I want to make sure that I would actually watch that video. So I'm going to say target date now, because I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to miss it. But Sunday, tomorrow evening for me, which might be tomorrow night. Tomorrow night? Is that even a thing you say?
Yes.
Tomorrow night. It'll be out for patrons. But peasants, you have to wait for a week.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I've said that before. I feel like I said this last week too.
I feel like that's the case as well.
But this week, guys. This is the week. Anyways, what have we done in 14 this week? Who wants to start?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll always go first.
Yeah.
This week I mostly focused on gathering, so I did my botanist and miner. They're up to like level 76 each. So I'm halfway through that crystalline mean quest line. It's very nonsense. I don't know if the other crystalline mean quests are as nonsense as this one.
Yeah, I think they are. They're all nonsense.
Mm-hmm. And that's about it, other than the other thing that we all did together.
Yes, we cleared E1S. I'm assuming that's what you're.
Yeah, that's what.
It's such
that's
a
what I was
faint
talking
memory. I can't even remember. It's like it's almost a week ago. Yes, that happened. So we did it, Reddit. We we are the most casual raid team, I think, out there. We raid once a week for 3 hours.
That's very generous.
That's
to
very
say we
generous.
raided for 3 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours more
Yeah.
like, yeah. So yeah,
World last.
world last finally, and yeah. I haven't really done much either. This is now we're going back to like the regular rhythm of how we play this game.
Yeah.
I log in, AFK a little bit, and then that's me for the week. And then now there's the raid thing. Mela,
So
what
we
have you
actually
done?
have to
What?
farm Phantasmagoria.
Oh yeah, we have to farm Phantasmagoria. Panic farming, love that.
Yeah.
Mela, what have you done?
Well, I've obviously cleared E1S. We dipped our toes into E2S. Seems okay. We
Uh-huh.
had a decent go at it before Rollo had to go.
Yeah.
People have said it's quite hard, but I feel like it's not going to be super bad, really. It's just going to take a lot of time for our group because they're all morons. Basically.
Yeah.
That's the curse, though, Mailer, saying it's not going to be that bad.
I think it's
Yeah.
easy.
You have
content.
just jinxed us again.
Easy for
I
us
do-
for elite players.
I say that before every minimum eye level, and look what happens.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I've not done a huge amount in 14 other than the usual dailies and stuff. I keep meaning to go back into the first and finish off those last few world quests or start leveling up an alt job, but I can't decide which one.
Right.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah,
I
I need
end
to
up like
finish
just
that.
staring at the screen for a bit and then alt
Do
tabbing
pa-
and watching YouTube until it logs me out.
Yeah.
Level Paladin, we need another tank.
Yeah, I might level Paladin. I hate leveling.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it's so boring. Why can't you level fast in this game?
Well, I mean, it's part of the game.
Just wait until the new Deep Dungeon comes out.
Yeah,
That'll
that'll
be
be fun.
fun.
Once that's out, it'll be good.
Yeah. Should we also? I feel like we haven't mentioned Rollo properly.
Oh, yeah, he's fired.
Just to clear things up. Rollo is fine. He's alive, and he is just moving. Well, I mean, he's Rollo, but he is moving, which is why he's unable to attend the show for now. But he will be back either by next week or the week after.
Yeah.
So.
If you want an idea of his status, when we raided this week, he did an empty room just after I had a shower, so he's probably naked on a laptop.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's about where it is right now. He can't really he doesn't really have a setup for a podcast environment right now. So don't worry about that. He'll be back. Okay. I guess it's time to get into recent events. And let's just jump into this. There will be a panel at PAX West. We've said this before, but the schedule has now been released. And I'll just read the official statement here from the Lodestone. Fresh off the heels of Shadowbringers, we're heading to Seattle for PAX West 2019. We're joined by art team lead Takeo Suzuki and main scenario writer Natsuko Ishikawa, who will be hosting a panel on the creation of Shadowbringers and 2 signing sessions with attendees. Not only that, we'll have a new player experience where potential new adventurers can battle Ifrit. Ifrit?
Huh? Oh, and they get the
starter edition for free.
That's
If they beat Ifrit, or did they just get it?
I assume if they beat it.
It'd be lame if you can't beat. I shouldn't say that. We are kind of cursed when it comes
mega
to this.
elitists.
I'm assuming it's not extreme.
No, it'll be the
It's
four-man
not
one,
going to be
probably.
extreme. Is it going to be? Yeah, it's probably going to be normal if it's for beginners.
Yeah. I'm cursing them. I'm jinxing them now. They will never clear it.
It's even easier now because Ifrit doesn't let you keep attacking it at a certain point when the nail's up.
Right.
Look, if you've never tanked in an MMO before, it might be really hard, Yogi.
That's true.
Anyways, you get the starter edition for free. Meanwhile, our experienced adventurers can do battle against Titania, ruler of the pixies, for a chance at an I Beat Titania shirt. They do not
Oh,
have
I really want one of them.
innocence.
That's why the innocence thing isn't there because they have the Ifrit thing.
Okay.
And
I still feel
assumedly,
like having both is better, though.
probably, but I also think this is so that you don't get bads in your Titania runs, but when you go for your t-shirt.
They should at least get a I Beat Ifrit shirt.
Yeah, because there used to be
It
one,
needs-
didn't
It
Yeah.
should be the minion version of Ifrit though.
there?
On the t-shirt.
The okay, yeah,
that would
that would be. Okay. Sorry. Friday, 30th of August through Monday, the 2nd of September is when the event is taking place. The Square Enix booth will be open throughout the entire show, so be sure to stop by. The panel itself is called Creating Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, Narrative and Visual Insights. The newly released third expansion for Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers introduced players to a whole new world, quite literally, as they ventured through the most compelling chapter in the MMO story yet. Join art team lead Takeo Suzuki and main scenario writer Natsuko Ichikawa as they look back at how the unforgettable setting and narrative of Shadowbringers came to be. No Warrior of Darkness will want to miss this glimpse behind the scenes, but those who have not yet taken up the mantle of Shadow, be warned. Spoilers abound!
Thank God for that. I would hate if they tiptoed around it for
Yeah.
such an interesting panel.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on-
The panel attendees
Attendees.
will also receive, since I said it wrong once, it's stuck now, will also receive a mini double-sided poster, which is...
It's pretty cool. It's like...
there's
it's that
Yulmore on the
artwork
second one?
Yeah,
that
I
they
don't think I've
posted
seen
ages
that Yulmore artwork before,
No.
or if it's been released before, I just hadn't.
It's just a
not-
Crystarian with the signs and Yulmore with some random Warriors of Light, I think.
Yeah.
Darkness.
Darkness, sorry.
Yeah, Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah. The panel takes place on Sunday, September 1st, 2019 at 9:30 p.m. GMT. That's 10:30 BST, 11:30 Central European Summertime.
That's not the worst time. It's not great, but it's not the worst time.
No.
It'll be after minimum eye level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Pretty
yeah.
much, yeah.
We could just stay online for a
That
bit.
will cover that, so make sure you can. This is probably just going to be an hour's panel. I don't
Yeah.
expect it
Yeah.
to last any longer. It doesn't have an end date though.
An end date.
An end time.
It will
Sorry.
end on Friday, the 8th of October.
It might just be infinite. You know, they might just sit there forever. There'll also be signing sessions. We're not going to talk about that because we've sort of already talked about it. They'll also give away this fucking foam sword.
Yeah,
Very ugly. The lanyard's kind of cute.
The lanyard is
yeah.
cool.
I thought that too.
Yeah, I don't like that it's got FFXIV freetrial.com on it
Oh,
though.
yeah, that's really...
Why do they have to make
Unappealing.
it so tacky? Like, why do?
Yeah, it's like, it's marketing.
We
rather
won't
than
forget it.
something-
It's like on everything that you give us, it says free trial, FFXIV free trial. Why such big letters? I don't
It's
like
worse
it.
on the sword.
Yeah, one whole side of it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
really bad.
Play now. FFXIV freetrial.com.
Why do they have to tell us to play now?
I don't know.
I know, so forceful.
Yeah. So that's that. I love that I've just said Gamescom coverage and not actually the date.
No, you don't have the date.
Okay, Gamescom is coming up as well. That's on the
11 a.m.,
22nd.
yes.
That's on the 22nd of August. That's on a Thursday at 11 a.m. Central European Summertime to 10 a.m. British. Why am I not using BST? What are you laughing at? The fact that I didn't put the date.
Gamescom coverage, 11 a.m.
It's on the 22nd of August. That's Thursday, 11 a.m. CEST. I hate summertime. I like CET. That makes more sense to me.
That'll be Mikhail and I.
Cest. Yes, that'll be me
1
and
a.m.
Georgi.
Cest.
11 a.m. Cest. Right. So stay tuned. So don't stay tuned, but tune in for that if you want some speakers
Do
coverage.
stay tuned as well, though.
Yeah, please don't ever leave this channel page. Player's choice. Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers has been voted July's best new game for the PS4. PS4.
Yay, the PS4.
Yeah.
Get a PC.
For the PS4. Sorry. Darkness prevails in the Player's Choice poll for July 2019. Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers has been voted as last month's best new game by PS blog readers, followed closely by Dragon Quest Builders 2, congrats
wow.
twice, Square Enix,
Wow.
and Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Wow, followed by a building game and a very poorly rated Wolfenstein game.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, can we really pick on them for having Dragon Quest Builders 2 as second, considering what we've been doing?
Yeah.
Well, I
we
suppose,
shouldn't
yeah,
be the
it might be
ones.
fun.
Yeah.
But come on, Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Well, I wasn't going to
Worst
bring that one up.
Wolfenstein game that's been made for years. They were on a roll. They ruined it. Goodbye.
I don't know. I think we said this before. I have no idea what the console game market is like at all. I don't know what games are on the PS4.
PS4, thank you.
Yeah. If you've ever been
I don't know anything about Wolfenstein Youngblood
No.
at all.
I didn't even know that was
It's
a
got
thing.
4 reviews is all I know.
Oh, okay. Well, rip. If you've ever been on the fence about checking out Final Fantasy XIV, I can personally attest to its quality, but bear in mind that it's an MMO, so it's a commitment. There is a free trial available. FFXIV trial.
Freetrial.com.
Freetrial.com. FFXIV-freetrial.com. That is FFXIV-freetrial.com.
/play.
Which will let you dive into the base game and play up to level 30. That won't get you
35.
into Shadowbringers, but it'll give you a taste of the broader experience and help you decide whether it's something you want to stick with.
Just like to say, I don't think this is Lukiel saying this. He's just reading from a script. He's not personally attesting to the quality.
Yeah.
of the game.
Yeah, this is.
Although I think he
I'm
can
reading
do.
this. I think people.
I think he could agree with this,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
it's not his opinion.
Yeah. That's the statement for Player's Choice Awards for the PlayStation. Here's a reminder: the Garo collab is ending
Oh,
in 5.1. This is your last. Well, probably not last warning. Second to last warning, probably. The collaboration between Final Fantasy XIV and the hit Japanese TV show Garo is set to end with the release of patch 5.1. At that time, players will no longer be able to obtain the Garo-inspired PvP gear, mounts, titles, and achievements. Don't miss the chance to obtain these unique items through PvP and the Gold Saucer. So just so you're aware, these are the items that are affected. Items available from the disreputable priest at Wolfsden Pier. Items available from the Gold Saucer attendant at the Gold Saucer. The Fatal Feast achievement and the associated reward. The Frontline Fury achievement and the associated reward. And the Furious Fatalities achievement and the associated reward. Previously earned gear, mounts, and titles will remain usable after patch 5.1. Gears you have previously earned can still be obtained from the Calamity Salvager after patch 5.1, and attempting to complete unfinished achievements after the release of patch 5.1 will not be possible, as the achievements will no longer be obtainable.
I feel like at this point they might as well have just kept it open-ended.
I feel like it's just licensing that's ending it.
Yeah, I
I
guess
think
it
that's
must
what
be.
it is.
But remember, you can get 1,000 wolf tomes a day without even trying. You don't have to win. You can just get them.
Yeah.
Wolf tomes.
What are they called?
Wolf marks.
Wolf marks.
Yeah.
I've been obviously doing too much PvP content.
Yeah.
So yeah, just grind them every day if you really want them.
I wonder
Not that
what why the timing of this announcement. Is it possible that they think this is the point you will have to start if you want to get everything before the event ends?
Possibly. Yeah.
Maybe.
Because it's going to take you a while to get some of this
Yeah.
stuff. So,
The 30 feast wins, I think, is the one most annoying part.
yeah.
Yeah, if they were like participation things, then everyone would have them, which would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't like
I mean,
them though.
weren't you excited the last time everyone got the regalia? Just for doing something?
Yeah.
I mean, these are from a different whole universe, and yet they're more thematically correct for the game.
Yeah. Anyways, make sure you grind, I guess, because it's going away.
Yep.
This is, I mean, we're how far away from a patch? 2 months?
Couple months. God,
yeah.
that's exciting, isn't it? We're gonna get more story soon. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Who cares about these
Some of-
stupid mounts?
I mean, some of the weapons are good, and you'll want to get the invisible shield
You
before
need the
event
invisible
ends.
shield for sure,
Yeah, that's a must.
and maybe
Uh,
the monk fists.
I'm assuming this is going up on the Mog station eventually, maybe? Or do you think it's just gone?
I don't think it will. The Yoko Watch stuff has never been on the Mog station.
That's true.
thank
There is
God
that
for
licensing issue probably as well. That means they can't. But
Mm.
it's still in the game.
It's in the game, yeah. So it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I think. I don't know fully how it works.
No, I think we need to learn. We need to look up licensing
Yeah,
laws.
we need to call a licensing expert to.
Any lawyers in chat?
Okay. Oh,
Oh,
Huh?
why did you do that?
I don't know what happened there. That just
Make sure to
happened.
cut that bit out.
Yeah, make sure we cut that out. I did not. That was unintentional. Sorry. Anyways, continuing on with recent events. Nobuo Uematsu. This is not strictly related to 14, but it's related to the Final Fantasy community as a whole. Nobuo Uematsu is returning from his hiatus, as you all are
Hooray.
probably aware of. He
Yay.
had to suddenly. What is the word I'm looking for? He needed to get away for a bit. He canceled all his projects.
Sabbatical.
Yeah. Because he had fallen ill, and everyone sort of held their breaths a bit because it was very dramatic when it was first announced. Because there was like one article had a black and white photo,
Oh god, yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's usually a bad sign. But it's according to this interview, he seems to be okay-ish. So let's just read into this. The president of Dog Ear Records, which is his record company, very interesting name, who has composed music for many games, including much of the Final Fantasy series from when he was with Square Enix. Recently, he's also composed for games such as Grand Blue Fantasy and Terra Wars, and continues to receive attention worldwide for his talent as a composer and keyboardist. Composer Nobuo Uematsu is a pioneer in the world of game music and an all-around great person. The sudden extended time off that he took last year sent shockwaves. Time off was the word I was looking for earlier. Sent shockwaves through the industry. But he's returned as of January 2019. He's shown the fans his energy as he went around to 11 venues in 8 cities as part of the Bra Final Fantasy series of brass band concerts. We talked to him about his current state as well as what the future holds. Returning to work in good shape despite health problems. It's been about half a year since you returned from your time off, but how have things been going lately? Uematsu says, I've had some health problems, but once I started accepting them as just another part of me, I was miraculously able to go back to work as normal. We were very worried when we heard about that. I think a lot of worry came from overseas as well. Uematsu, I think so. I'm very sorry for having to cancel the various concerts and live performances we had scheduled, including ones overseas. But there's quite a bit to that story. Did you end up getting hospitalized?
Absolutely no tact for this interview, but all right.
No. Yeah, did you end up getting hospitalized is literally the next question. And Uematsu, it doesn't get any better. Uematsu says, apparently, I was close to dying. And then he laughs.
That's funny.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah. I wasn't totally bedridden, but was completely worn out and transferred to different hospitals. I'd thought that at least my body was still in good shape, but with this, I'd completely lost confidence in that. It impacted everything down to my mood.
Oh.
Oh.
It sounds like both your mind and body were fatigued. What is?
Doctor now.
Yeah. I like putting my all into everything that I do, so I'm going to keep giving it my best no matter what. That's just a habit of mine, and I can't change it now. I take on a bunch of work and put as much as I can into all of it, and that's why I'm exhausted. But I can't do anything about my age, and I realized for the first time I'll have to start considering these things more carefully.
That makes me a little bit worried about Soken.
Yeah.
Saying he puts his all into everything. I mean, Soken often goes entire sessions where he engrosses himself in his work, and then he comes out and he screams for fried chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a bit younger, though. He can abuse himself for a little bit longer, I think.
Yeah.
But he'll have to stop as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You really took on that much work? Uematsu said, when I was younger, there was a time when I wasn't able to make a living off of music. I haven't been able to get away from the fear that I might not get any more work again if I turn something away, ever since then. That's an experience so traumatic that it can change the rest of your life. But I've come to realize that things will get difficult for me if I keep working at that same pace.
See, that's funny because he originally wanted to be a wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It's very interesting that he still has that fear, even though that's unlikely to happen at this point.
Yeah.
I know, he's so well respected.
Yeah.
He must know that.
I think he does, but I think there's a part of his brain
I think
mind that's
it probably happened like he was probably struggling for so long. It's just become part of him, like that fear.
Yeah.
You've made the reasons for your time off very clear, and we're very relieved that you haven't decided to quit working. Uematsu said, I'm not going to quit, but this is the point where I should be thinking about what kind of things I'm going to create. So he's gonna consider his projects a bit more going forward.
Maybe he'll cut down on like the grand tours of his concerts and stuff.
Yeah.
And focus more
I feel like that's the thing he enjoys a lot.
That's the one he likes the most, though, yeah.
It must be pretty strenuous.
And also, he doesn't have to compose new music for it, right?
No, but he has to conduct it.
Yeah.
I've never conducted something, but I imagine it's quite stressful.
Yeah, I guess.
I imagine it's a different kind of enjoyment you get out of making something new rather than seeing how everyone reacts to what you've created.
That's true.
Yeah.
God, I need to go and see one. I need to go see a Distant Worlds concert. Next one that comes.
There's a Distant World concert in like 6 days. I'm still thinking about whether I want to go.
Go, Georgi. You're gonna regret not going.
I know.
I do also wonder, like Melissa said in chat, I wonder if he's like listened to the Shadowbringers soundtrack. If he's like,
that would be interesting. Yeah, it'd be nice to know.
Because Soken used to work under Uematsu, right? Because they in 1.0, Uematsu was lead composer and Soken was the audio engine. What was he? I can't remember what he was. Something sound design.
I think he still is the lead sound designer, but now he's also the lead composer.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. I'm sure he's looking at Soken's work. He's paying close attention to it, I think.
I hope so.
I wonder what he thinks of the Shadowbringers theme.
Yeah, because the first
knowing
14...
knowing that it's not something he was able to make himself because of his time off.
Yeah. Right. Excitement over what to do from now on and new challenges. Has your way of thinking about creation changed since your time off? Uematsu says no. But some old feelings have been coming back. Because I've been composing songs for RPGs for so long, everyone thinks that's just what I do, right? Of course, that's not completely wrong, but there's a part of me that I wasn't able to express through doing that. This may sound dramatic, but since having these health problems, I realized that everyone will actually die one day.
He's right.
It is true.
I don't like that.
And I love
very male-alike.
It's very male-alike. He's had a male moment.
If you were 60 years old, you'd
I don't think I would start
really
thinking
good life.
At 60.
If you're 60 and you've had a really successful career, and then suddenly you get so ill you can't work, you will think about.
You know what I would do if I were him, though? I would stop smoking.
Yeah, probably, especially if it's a recommendation.
Yeah. It's a very tragic because Uematsu smokes a lot.
Yeah,
it's
most Japanese people do.
Yeah, That's
They
true.
also
I
have the
think
highest
that
life
A
expectancy in
lot
the
of
world.
Japanese people do, but I don't think most
Most
Japanese
Yeah,
people
not
don't.
these days. Maybe not these days, but it's so common in Japan. Or at least
It was
used to be.
very common when he was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though they all smoke, it doesn't make it more healthy.
Yeah.
No, but their life expectancy is still the highest on the
Yeah,
planet.
but imagine how high it could be if they didn't smoke.
Oh, I know, 400.
Yeah, that'd be fucking ents.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I realize that everyone will actually die one day, and the follow-up from the
Oh,
interviewer.
God, the interview is amazing.
It's a very tragic thing that happens to us all. What
I
is
hope
that?
he's Japanese, the interviewer, and this is just a translation
Yeah.
that makes him sound
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. I'm 60 right now, and I'll be 9. This is great. This is funny.
Good math.
I'm 60 right now, and I'll be 90 if I live for 30 more years. But 30 years passes in the blink of an eye.
Oh my
Not
God, he
so
is
sure,
me.
but maybe.
He is me.
Yeah, that's very you to say. So it's like I'll be dead before I know it. As I'm just
God.
going about my business. If I don't start doing the things I want to do right away, my life will be over.
Exactly. That's a good outlook.
Has
He
30.
laughed after that line.
He did
as well.
laugh. He
Yeah.
did laugh. Yeah. Has 30 years passed in the blink of an eye for you? Uematsu says, I started working at Square. Final Fantasy ended up selling, and that's kept me busy ever since. When you're busy, time passes by before you know it. I see.
When you enjoy doing what you work, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's what he's saying. I see. That is true. Great input.
I see.
Uematsu. I felt completely different from when I was very young by the time I was 30. But when I went from being 30 to a 60-year-old man, I didn't feel like anything had changed at all.
Brilliant. Oh,
Oh,
great.
so we've all got something to look forward to then.
Yeah, we'll hit 60 now.
One day you'll
Okay,
just be like,
bam.
wait, what the fuck? I'm fucking
Where did
60
it all
years
go?
old. I'm going to die
Yeah.
Yeah.
soon.
But don't worry, we'll still be doing the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Episode 910 or whatever.
4008.
Where are we going?
really?
Oh, really? Oh, really? I haven't changed. He laughs. I've been growing to understand this more and more lately, but adults really are just aged children. Laughs.
That's very
Watching
true.
this
That is
stream,
true,
I
yeah.
think we can confirm. Because right now, at 60 years old, I feel really excited about figuring out what I'm going to do with myself until I die.
Sake.
Dear God.
Putting aside that, I don't have as much stamina.
Maybe he's not me. He doesn't seem to have any fear. He's almost excited for it.
It's still great to be excited at 60, though, the interviewer says, as if that's like, okay. Uematsu, from 30 to 60, I just set aside my own thoughts and did the work that was in front of me. Now I want to take on some challenges that will allow me to grow. My footwork isn't as good as it was when I was young, but my network has really grown. I think I'd like to use whatever strength I can to make things that I wasn't able to do previously possible now.
Oh my god. He's going to
Yeah.
have like the ultimate like composer squadron making the greatest music in the world.
Yay! What's your motivation for continuing to compose? Uematsu says that I sometimes wonder why I do it. If I quit doing it, I wouldn't be sure what to do with myself every day. I don't really have any hobbies.
Oh.
I mean, that is the
That's
life of
sad.
an like artist, I guess. Someone like him. It's a bit surprising that you don't have any hobbies at all. This interviewer is like,
He hates this island.
This is-
He he likes pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Surely what pro wrestling is.
yeah.
Unless he's given up on that.
Uematsu says, well, there are things that I like to do. I don't know that I'd call it a hobby, but I recently got certified as a sound healing therapist.
Well, that sounds nice.
And
Is
then,
like
what that is?
holistic therapy.
It does sound like holistic therapy.
yeah,
That's
you
fine.
got certified as a therapist? Uematsu says,
Don't sound so surprised.
I underwent it as a relaxation technique to help treat joint pain. Oh, you should call Uematsu Mala.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
But Mala is becoming very old and frail.
It's my muscles that ache, not my joints. thank
Oh,
you.
okay. That tomorrow you'll have joint.
Mailer recently had a birthday.
have
He's
joints.
realised he's old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it helps relieve ailments through vibrating different types of large tuning forks.
Oh, I think I know sort of. what
Okay,
we're
I
I
think
know
yeah,
about this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even though they don't touch my body at all, it's so odd how relaxed they make me feel just from the vibrations. I believe it was because the melodies and chords moved something within people, but now I think the main reason might be the frequency and vibrations brought about by the sound. When I realized that there's something more to sound itself than I'd thought about up until now, I started really wanting to study this more closely. I intended to just take a course on it, but I ended up getting certified. Laughs.
I think it's really cool that a composer has turned to sound therapy. So that's very apt.
Yeah.
It's kind of maybe he'll incorporate. Maybe he'll help change his style a bit. I don't know.
I'd be
yeah.
curious to try sound therapy.
I think it's just relaxing.
I
isn't it?
don't.
Just like hearing.
Yeah, I feel as if it'd be closer to
like white
meditation.
noise.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I necessarily believe its ability to help with joint pain and things like
No.
that.
No, but it certainly relax you.
I don't want like some guy or lady like with a tuning
You
fork.
know, the other thing.
the other
one.
one with like a tuning fork. That would be awkward.
Yeah, it's not
Because
for
you're
you.
Norwegian.
That's true. That might be. Yeah, that's true. You're the type of person who gets really deep into everything they do. Then they laugh. You get really deep into everything you do, don't you?
Yeah.
When did you start wrestling? A formative experience for me that first got me into music was. Wait, is this Uematsu or is this just the interviewer continuing? He's like, oh, by the way,
feel like-
No, I think this is something Uematsu did.
Yeah,
as a
okay.
child.
Yeah.
younger man.
A formative experience for me that first got me into music was listening to the Vienna Boys Choir. The mystery of why this kid who knew nothing about music was crying while listening to that choir is one that's underlying for me. I actually dreamed of one day being a sound therapist. What? The feeling that there was something about music that could heal people's hearts. And I'm happy that I can still explore these things that I've wanted to know more about, even at this age.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like he more means that in like a conceptual way, like I really want to help people with music.
Yeah.
Rather than very specifically, I want to be a holistic therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to be a game music composer, you should have determination. This is the next part of the interview. Did you learn about music completely through self-study? Uematsu says it was all through self-study, but if I'd had the chance, I think I would have wanted to go to a music school. I would have been able to study it more efficiently that way. Materials would have already been prepared for you.
And then it's just a picture of him.
Then there's a picture of him.
That's his answer.
Yeah. Uematsu said, I didn't study piano or music incredibly thoroughly, and I went to a regular college since my father didn't believe in that as a career. But when I was in college, I read a lot of books on jazz theory and composition techniques. I've always struggled with this. Remember the first time Yas joined the podcast? I was like, should we call him Jazz? The Y and J has always been a problem for me in English. Jazz theory and composition techniques. So I got really into the theory part of things, wondering why C comes after G7 and things like that. I don't know if all that stuff was useful to me or not, but when I'd browse through, I'd see my own unique musical structure forming. No matter what the means, you still have to comprehend it all yourself in the end. This is not him saying this. This is the interviewer. It is a very strange interview because I feel like there are hardly any questions.
I think this is like a
it's more of a-
conversation that they've written
Yeah.
down.
Right, okay.
I'd love a conversation with him.
Yeah, same. But you know, the people who end up becoming professional composers aren't the people who deliberately study to be them. I think the people who are those that compose gradually, even if they haven't bothered with all that other stuff. I see. So, so what do you think young people who want to get into the game music industry these days should do? Here's some pro tips from the man
You're
himself.
listening now.
Let's see. If you wanted to be a composer back then, you first had to get good at an instrument and then be able to write something. Synthesizers, multi-track recorders, and sequencers have become more prevalent since then, though, so you don't even need to perform it all yourself. And nowadays there are a bunch of different apps available, so that pretty much anyone can compose music relatively easily.
There you go. So you don't even have to try.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what he
I
said.
don't think that's what he said, no.
No.
Why is this?
Excuse me?
Okay.
What was that?
I think that was my doorbell. I think
We'll go and answer
it's not the
it.
door. It's outside. It's probably some drunkards. Sorry, I live downtown. Okay, sorry.
Watch it be someone who really needs help. Sorry, I was doing the podcast for
Yeah.
a game.
It only rang once, which means they didn't hold it in properly. It definitely has gotten a lot more convenient. But if you don't have a lot of determination, you won't make it.
That's the best phrase he could have ever said.
Yeah. When you have something you want to express, you used to have to start with practicing that instrument. But now you can think, I want it to sound like this. Hit a button, and you've got drum samples or whatever. Then you can just put it all together and call it done. So I think that feelings and seriousness around music are starting to become very different. I see. That may be true. Being able to mess around with music easily is a very good thing. But if you want to be a game music composer, I think you have to have a very strong determination. If not, you'll fall apart as soon as you get discouraged by something. Okay, we're getting pretty deep into this.
Deep?
That's one reason for not sticking with it. Uematsu follows up. I still haven't been able to express the same sort of emotion I felt when I heard the Vienna Boys Choir, and I don't think I can stop pursuing that goal until I achieve it. There are both good and bad aspects to sticking with it for this long, and no one can really fully prepare for how discouraging it is when you hit setbacks. But I wonder if very many people think about it that much nowadays. There may be many who think, if music doesn't work out for me, I'll just start painting or drawing.
Oh, it's that easy.
And then they make the switch. That kind of do or die nature may just not be a thing anymore, like it was back then.
They speak in my language.
The Vienna Boys Choir must have been such a formative thing for him, and he's...
I know.
Yeah.
I feel a bit sad though that he can't. He's still chasing that dream.
Yeah.
I hope he can manage it.
Yeah. I don't think that making a living elsewhere if your chosen path doesn't work out for you is necessarily a bad thing. That's the interviewer saying this. Uematsu says, it's not a bad thing at all, but that's what I'd say when asked, I want to make a living from working in game music alone. What suggestions do you have for me? Anyway, I just want to say, don't try and mimic someone else.
Yeah.
You'll just end up in second place that way after all, says the other one. Uematsu says, you shouldn't be dependent on the opinions of others, but you should ask for them. It's important to get into the habit of deciding on things yourself when push comes to shove. If you just chase after people's opinions and fads, you'll lose sight of who you really are.
That's for the YouTube comments.
So then you have to have a core, much like you do, Mr. Uematsu. Uematsu says, it's fine if it's just rock or just jazz. That's just you liking something unconditionally. People who can hold on to that sensation of bold emotion are strong, and I think that people who have that kind of brush with music when they're young are very lucky. The kind of music that's life-changing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And you've experienced that yourself. He laughs. Uematsu says, I guess so. And he laughs. That's been the case for me with the Vienna Boys Choir, rock and classical. I think the era has a big influence on that. Nowadays, there are so many choices, even just on an iPhone. That's true.
Oh, this is getting into a real old man's conversation.
Yeah, it really is. Here we go. This is Mala's favorite line. Uematsu says, back in our day, just about everyone wrote something about music or movies in the personal interest section of their resume. And all of them were completely immersed in those things. He laughs. The ones who loved movies really knew a lot about them, and there were a lot of bookworms too. But be that as it may, if you were to ask me whether things were better now or back then, I wouldn't really be able to answer. I haven't done anything other than music, and I've listened to a ton of different kinds. I've been very lucky to have a lot of emotional seeds planted in me as a result of that. There you go.
Aw.
Every generation has it rough in a different way. Uematsu says, right?
Yeah.
There's so much now that you just can't choose, right? But when you're young, you're a blank slate. You have the potential to be anything, and that's so wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Have you ever thought about wanting to go back to when you were young again? Uematsu. Nope. I had no money and no job. I wouldn't want to go back to that painful of a life again. But it was really fun talking about our dreams with friends that were in the same situation. Somehow, it feels weirdly like being 60 right now.
Nothing changes.
Yeah. I'm sure there will be some pretty exciting stories from you in the coming 30 years, he laughs. It seems like you'll be it seems like you'll be pursuing some of the emotional experiences from your youth then. Uematsu says, I suppose I will be. I think that if anyone else listens to the Vienna Boys Choir, they might experience the same. We should listen to the Vienna
gotta
Boys
look it
Choir
up.
on the post show.
Yeah.
They might
Yeah.
experience the same feelings I did. It may sound self-important, but my life has been complex because I'm always thinking that I need to move other people with my music in the same way.
That's a lot of pressure to put on yourself.
I know.
Yeah. Not at all. I think a lot of us have been moved by your music quite a bit. That's true. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Uematsu, I've thought about becoming a music critic and letting others hear the music that moved me so much. There's just so much of it I want to show others. But I think of me composing as passing that music on to the next generation through my own filter. I think my job may basically be the same thing. So, moving on to the last part of the interview here, aiming to have more solo live performances.
Oh, yes, go Gyogi.
So, what are your plans for the immediate future? Let's see. I think I'd like to have more solo live performances, inviting guests to sing, showing pictures that people have drawn for. Seeing pictures that people have drawn for and having people do readings of stories I create. I'd like to keep challenging myself with that sort of stuff.
That'd be cool.
I think he wants
Yeah.
to break out in terms of his creative output.
Yeah. You've given us a glimpse into a world of yours that's clearly very different from the one up until now, and it sounds like a blast, Uematsu says. If I could just get a small club in the city for about an hour once a year, that would be good enough for me. Just an hour? But I guess it would be a unique experience. Uematsu says, 30 minutes of that would be me talking, though. I'll give it a try, and when I mess up or it doesn't go off like I think, I'll get scared and will freeze up before I even finish. But then I'll gradually work on fixing the bad parts. That's my plan, laughs. So it may be rocky at the start, but that's totally fine. Even if I'm insulted by everyone who attends, I'll understand. It would be really nice to try doing something just for myself like this.
Who the hell would insult him?
No, I don't know. You're just a person who can never stop. I hope you can keep on pushing forward like this forever. Uematsu, this is the final line. I won't be settling down.
Oh,
Laughs.
wow. Does he have a wife? Okay.
I
See,
think
now they
someone wants your attention.
You want to buy a new calendar?
That was a free calendar.
Yeah, but it costs now because you got one already.
Uematsu's perspective. It's so interesting talking to people
He's a
in
fantastically interesting man.
Yeah.
And he's had such a good life.
It's such a different perspective from what we have because we're like half his age.
Yeah. And he's right. Like, when he was growing up, there were sort of just the opportunities around you. Whereas now, you've got such a connection to everything. You know everything.
But then again, you still need. It's still a world where you need a lot of connections to other people to be able to get into industries, unless you're absurdly lucky.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I want to say that talented people like Uematsu will always be brought to the forefront. But then again, I don't know. I feel like there's many talented people that just don't have the opportunities to get into such positions where they can share their art with people.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, it's going to be a good story.
Nothing. No one responded.
You're being pranked.
It's just drunken people passing by, probably. It'll probably ring again. Okay. Right, that's the end of that thing. Interview. That's the word. Right. It's interesting to hear him. You guys have probably talked about this already.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move into MogMail, I guess, because it's
Yay.
we haven't done MogMail in a while. Here we go. Okay, and our first MogMail is from Renvalis Morestein from Excalibur. Hello,
Put your glasses on.
Hello, speakers. My name is Renvalis Morestein of the Vox Crystalli FC on the Excalibur server. I love and listen to your...
we get it, by the way.
Yeah, we get it, by the way. We get it. Vox Crystalli, Voice of the Crystal. I love and listen to your podcast whenever it's available, and I wanted to express some of my thoughts regarding episode 154. A lot of your points made were extremely compelling, and I notice some things in game that could support some of them. The allusion to the Warrior of Light and some of the scions belonging to the 12 were always lost on me until you read some of the theories surrounding it. Upon hearing your reading of the creation myth, much of the picture became clearer to me. The first thing I wanted to say is that you remind us that the 12 is most prevalent on the Source, a world that is presided over by Hydaelyn, and is even named after. While the deities in the myth may not be direct translations, as I think these things are always romanticized, certain relationships or characteristics more than likely stand the test of time. The first part mentions Althic and Nemea and how he cares for her. I can see the parallel in Thancred and Minfilia's story. The end of the myth mentions Halone and Byragot, which I deduce are the twins. Byragot is a much harder comparison to make, but I read it as Alphinaud's ability and desire to build good relations among all the different people of the world. And then we go to Oshon and the Warrior of Light. I do believe that the title was bestowed largely in part to our leaving the council and summoning Hydaelyn. I have nothing more to add to that point, but wanted to direct your attention to something that was recently added to the game. It is our player knowledge that every PC we run into in 14 is a Warrior of Light. I think it's a fun nod, if we are Oshon, that whilst visiting other servers, your FC tag is replaced with Wanderer. It's for some reason missing. Is this meaningful or just an oversight? I like to believe it's the former, but only time will tell. Love the podcast, and I will continue to listen every time there's a new episode. Thank you. If you choose to read this, I would love to hear how you pronounce my character name. Best of luck in all your endeavors. Renvalis. Renvalis? Renvalis.
Renvalis Morestein or Morestein.
Morestein.
Thank you for subscribing to my Oshon theory. Thank you.
I'm skeptical of the whole us being the 12 theory, so I'm curious as to what you two have to say on this.
Oh. Okay, I'm pretty keen on it, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm not sure necessarily about some of their theories, like the Althic and Nemea as Thancred and Minfilia and the Halone and Byragot as the twins. I'm not super subscribed on all the scions being part of the 12. But although as we'll probably talk about at some point, the Papalimo thing is quite compelling. But I definitely think, with what's been said, we have to be one of them. Right?
The 12?
We have to be one of the... We have to be a Moratine, at least.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
We definitely have to be an Moratine.
And it's very likely we're the one who left the council.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it's very likely that we then went on to summon Hydaelyn.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so because there were 12 people who summoned Hydaelyn, you can
We
infer...
don't know that. We just saw that picture.
picture.
I agree that there's 12 people in the picture, but we don't know that for sure.
Okay. We don't know that for sure, but let's assume that is that many. Then, if that's true, it would make sense that they are the 12 that we now believe in.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the people that don't follow it and watch the episode where we discussed this, there is if you look at the cave painting, where in the scene where Emmett Selk explains the Sundering, basically, there's a painting of Zodiark and Hydaelyn sort of being summoned, And on the left side, where Zodiark is being summoned, there are 13 people, and we know there were 13 people summoning Zodiark. And there are 12 people summoning Hydaelyn.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know that there are actually 13 people summoning Zodiac?
No.
Because we know that a lot of them had to be sacrificed.
There
The
were
Amoritine-
13 people on the council, is what we know.
There were 13 people on the
Yeah.
council, but sure, because Emmett Selk talks about the Amoritines knowing that they're going to be sacrificed, so they would have to be at least aware that the summoning of Zodiac is happening. Otherwise, he's directly lying to us.
Right. Well, I mean, he could.
I don't know if I believe Emmett Selk is lying to us from his perspective.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think the council. They didn't kill anyone from the council, did they? They just killed other.
It's just people,
Amoritines.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
They did kill Amoritines. That is
Yeah,
what.
but
they,
none on the
that's
council.
what Emmett Selk said.
None on the council.
We don't know that.
But that was not.
That
it was
would be
implied to be just people.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
chattel.
Yeah. And then that makes sense with the 13, that the council decided we will summon Zodiark, and then the other Amoritines.
Maybe we're unaware of it.
I don't
And
think they
just
were. No,
sacrificed
they
in the process,
I
or
don't-
gave themselves.
they weren't
to it.
unaware of it.
No, I don't think they would be unaware of it, because otherwise, as I said, Emmett Selk would be lying to us, and I feel as if Emmett Selk believes he's telling the truth.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they volunteered because for the greater good.
Mm.
So they weren't forced. They were sacrificed for the greater good.
I mean, the question is, did they actually volunteer?
Again,
or
we're
was it like-
getting, this might be
Yeah.
a sugar-coated story from Emmett Selk because he's, trying to tell us how great and grand they were.
I just think everything adds up for the us being Oshon thing, though, with, even the FC tag thing and the fact that we are called the Wanderer because we left the council and made our own path.
The Wanderer
And the
tag
fact that we took
is...
the hair out of the void thing. And
Yeah.
there's
That
just
is the
so
most...
much to it.
Because I've been thinking about that, because the creation myth explicitly states that Oshon just wandered in from
Exactly.
nowhere. And then you look
It's
at
almost like
World Visit, and it's exactly the same thing. And as
Yeah.
far as we know, we are the only people who can do that.
Yeah. It's almost like the 11 were preparing for the creation of Hydaelyn and everything, like the myth states, and then we're like, no, we're joining in with this now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be an interesting question to ask One Yoda about, because
He wouldn't say.
I mean-
It's probably spoilers.
yeah, but I think it's the kind of thing that even if he doesn't say exactly, I think he might dance around it if you were to bring it up.
Yeah.
Because it's a game mechanic, but it's a game mechanic with a specific title. So
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah. I'm not entirely on board with Oshon yet, but I'm definitely looking at it. I don't know. I don't
If
like.
it turns out to be true, all I say is congratulations for an incredible long play, because
Yeah.
this lore's been building up for such a long time. It'd be fantastic if it came to that.
Yeah.
I just have a problem with them locking us into one specific member of the 12, especially when they let us choose
Yeah.
who our patron deity is. I think
I
that's a
did
very
like
weird
that.
conflict of interest.
Yeah, I liked that theory as well, that we would be the one we choose.
We could be channeling the energy of Oshon when we travel to other worlds, but I don't know. Choosing the
possible.
deity wouldn't make sense for Oshon. It's like,
No, it
which
wouldn't.
one of my friends should I pick, or should I pick myself? It's a little strange.
Do you at least subscribe to the 12 in general theory, Yogi, or are you still skeptical of that?
I'm more willing to believe that than the. I am skeptical of it still, but I'm more willing to believe that we may be one of the 12, and that being the one of the 12 that we chose.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be cool if that was the case, because that would explain why we're picking our deity.
It would be cool if it led into the the only 12-man trial or something in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that would be cool.
And we're all the ones we picked. Although, good
Yeah.
luck with Q's. But,
Yeah.
The gremlin calls us a weary wanderer, by the way, in the trailer. as
Yeah.
well.
And then Emmett causes it in there.
And we are wandering.
I mean, going back to the 12-man trial
Yeah.
thing, I don't think I think you will see
Yeah.
yours, and I don't think they will care if the other 11 people directly represent
Right.
the
Yeah.
ones that they've chosen, because they don't see what you're seeing.
Yeah. The thing I'm struggling with the 12 theory is that I don't have enough proof or evidence or hints to create a theory, because right now we're just throwing it out there like we could be one of the 12, but then who are the others? You know, if we're still on the source, who are the others? And this Renvalis is trying here to, you know, connect some people to it. I do want to say one thing though, that it's very, even though the myth itself is very out there and a typical myth, it is very the relationships are very like specific. It's
Yes.
which might be an indication of something, but
I mean, it could just be an attempt to replicate like Greek or Roman mythology in that way, because there are very specific relationships between Roman
that's true.
gods, like between
just like
Zeus and
like
Hera and stuff
most
like that.
pantheons really are. They do have these weird things.
In the end, I don't really care whether it'll be true or not. I've had a lot of fun trying to force it though, like trying to think of what. It's been a fun theory to build up, and if it's true, I'd be pretty happy.
I think when I was playing through the main scenario, I thought, okay, there's not the 12 theory is dead. The 12 is never going to be a thing. It's a 1.0 relic. It's nothing to do with any of the world lore. It's all about Hydaelyn versus Zodiark. But then Emet just had to say, curse your 12. He had to say it. And that fucked me up. I'm like, fuck you. Why did you say that? I was done with it. Because if our initial theory, well, it's not even a theory, like the outline of a theory, that 12 people summoned Hydaelyn, then that would make sense for him to say, your 12, your side of the battle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So...
And he recognizes and knows us as something that we don't really know.
Yeah, and the thing is, he says curse your 12, yet there's no 12 on the first. So he's not even referring to the different 12s on the different shards.
Well,
it would make sense for him to say curse your 12 if there were 12 on the first, right?
Yeah.
See, that's what's keeping me up at night. I'm thinking about this. Why did he say that? Is that like a little thing they just put in there that we will have like the revelation later? Like,
yeah,
of course.
It felt very deliberate that was added in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It might also, this is something we have to be careful about, because now we are pushing it, which we want it to be the case. So now we might be ignoring the fact that it might not be a thing. So I'm just going to call this an outline, because we have nothing to support this yet.
That's fair.
Other than what he said in the cave painting.
I'm the least invested in this theory, so
I know.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it being correct.
Which is why I want it to be more correct than ever. So you can be like, I should have jumped on that.
Yeah. We'll
Right.
see what 5.1 brings, because if it pushes it even more, gives more evidence, I'll just be more inclined to believe it as fact.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you, Renvalis.
Thank you, Renvalis. I hope I at least didn't butcher your name, even though I probably didn't pronounce it right.
That's all right. You can't change it now.
It's too late. It's too late. We've already done it. Okay, next one is from, if I've done this right, Ami Palani, Cerberus.
Oh.
Hello, speakers. Thank you so much for your wonderful podcast and Remnant Secrets videos. It is very joyful to see that the work of people so It's very joyful to see the work of people so passionate about the history of the game and its lore. I enjoy your theories, especially about the 12. Thank you. I share Rollo's point of view about the dozen. And their past in Amarot, and that we, the Werewolf, could be one of them. What about others? Rereading the 12 lore in the encyclopedia and realized other gods could be scions. So this is fairly similar to what Ramali said. Warrior of Light, Oshan, Nald Thal, Twins, Thaliak, Orionje, Althik, Exarch, Halone, Estinian, Nemea, Tartaru, Watcher of Celestial Bodies. It reminds me about Shadowbringers. I'm not sure about Limlane, Byregot, Ralger, Nafika, and Azema. Azema is a goddess of inquiry. Hildy. I I hope my theories don't sound strange, and sorry for my bad English. Greetings from Russian fans.
I know.
Thank
My
you for
mind was
reading.
blown.
Thank you.
You must be the only one. I
Right.
like that you're going into this. It's Estinian that makes me wary here, because he was never originally a scion, and he was sort of pushed into it. So is it that he didn't know he was part of it, and we've somehow sorted him out? I don't quite get that one. It feels weird bringing people into the scions and then them now being part of the 12.
the science has never been a concrete. Ever since 2.0, it hasn't really been like
Well,
a
true, yeah.
set group of people.
Yeah.
But it would it's weird
Louis
that some
Soir
of
was
them-
originally part of the science.
Yeah.
He was our leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could be one of them, and now he's gone because he's
Yeah,
sacrificed himself.
Well, he was the leader of Path of the 12, wasn't he? And then
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true
But
as
it's
well.
the same thing. Just changed name, basically. Path of the 12. I didn't even realize that was like that was what it used to be called.
Yeah.
What was
This is gonna keep me
Minfilia's
up at
one?
night.
What was Minfilia's group called? The one that was with the people for the Echo?
Oh, there was the Circle of
Circle of Knowing. Circle
It's
of
the Circle
Knowing.
of Knowing.
Was Circle of Knowing? Yeah, Circle
That
of
was a
Knowing
Louis
was
Soir thing as well, wasn't it?
Louis.
Yeah.
Oh God, wasn't he a leader of all of it?
He was just the grandpappy.
He was the leader of at least one of them. Oh God, it's been so long. Circle of Knowing and Path of the 12.
Mm.
I want to say the Path of the 12 was Minfilia's.
Yeah.
What if the people who the scions went to pray to at their stones
I just
were
thought
that
about
god?
it. I just thought about it now.
Yeah, they went to pray at
They
their
all
own
prayed
stone.
at different stones.
But that's not enough scions.
It's not enough scions.
No, it isn't enough scions. So how did they pray to all of them? Because the Warrior of Light prayed to some, didn't they?
Maybe
really
that's
say
why the
that could-
ritual failed, because not all the 12 summoned.
Because not all of them were here anymore.
Yeah.
I
Huh?
say
Oh.
Thancred being Nald Thal.
The god of commerce and the underworld. Yeah, it's kind of weird for
Yeah.
him to be that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Now
I don't like this
we're
more, but it's still, I don't know if it adds up.
yeah.
Just got to get your mind going, Georgie, and then it'll all fit in place.
Oh, will it?
They pray to the wrong gods. That's why. They're like, what was my icon? What was my symbol again?
They all have different tattoos on them.
Papalimo was able to do it with no prayers and a broken staff.
That's true, but
It was a smaller scale, though.
it was smaller scale.
Mm.
He was imprisoning Shinryu, who is like a drop in the ocean compared to Bahamut.
And if Papalimo was one of the 12, he would have more power than Louis Soir had.
And it didn't work that well.
It didn't. No.
I mean, it actually did trap it for a while, which Louis Suarez never did.
That's true, yeah.
But, you know.
I don't know. Now we're all over the place, I feel like. But there is one interesting thing that someone on our Discord added me in spoilers. There's a specific thing. This is only in the Japanese client, which already makes it sketch for me. But there was a point when you saved, where we rescue Papalimo and Ida at the time from, is it Karn?
Yeah.
Near Karn? It's in the.
I believe so, yeah.
It's in the last. Is it before Stormblood? I can't remember. Is it when they're undercover? I can't remember now.
Yeah, that's before Stormblood.
Yeah. He says something to the effect of like, could you be? No, never mind, or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which you can see the exact same quote in Amarot with an Amoratine looking Amoratine, whatever. Amoratine. Looking at you with the exact same quote. This might mean something, or it is what we more or less concluded that it's just a very anime thing to say, a very common phrase.
Yeah.
in Japanese, so it might not mean anything. But if you are very tuned into the what if we are the 12 and everyone, the Scions are all part of the 12, that could give some credence to it. But after thinking about it, I don't think it is. I think it is just a reuse of that phrase because the formatting isn't the same either.
No, it's not identical, but it's the same phrase at least, same words.
Yeah. So
it's worth thinking about.
I guess. I mean, while we're in these theory spinning times, I guess it's yeah. Right. Would be interesting though if Hildebrand was one of the 12.
That would be the worst plot twist.
Yeah. Right. I think
almost indestructible.
Yeah. That's true. He became a zombie. Spoilers for Hildebrand, I guess, but
that was around Reborn.
Yeah. Let's not.
Imagine if they made the Hildebrand questline necessary for the end main scenario.
Yeah.
At least I'd do it.
Yeah. You've missed out on Hildebrand. Hildebrand is good. Just do Hildebrand.
I know, I'll have to do it eventually.
Yeah. It's sad that it's not voiced because there's a lot of cutscenes, but you get over it.
I feel as if people would be upset because Hildebrand wouldn't sound like what they expect him to sound like.
I believe they said that during an interview as well. That it's too hard to cast him now.
Yeah.
Right. I guess that's the end of the 12 talk, but I'm sure it's not the last time we will talk about it. If you have anything to add to this theory or this conversation, MogMail, speakersxav.com/MogMail.
Yeah. Join in.
Okay. Next one. This one's going to get feisty. This one's from AJ Bringelstein from Ragnarok. Hi, dudes. Since we have 2 healer mains in speakers, I'd like to ask this question.
Time to sit back.
Why are healers so bad in Shadowbringers? I'm being serious. Why is every healer I meet in the Duty Finder more concerned with doing DPS than their actual jobs? Particularly when doing the normal mode raids, but also in other content as well, like Alliance Roulette. I've consistently found that healers will continue to DPS while party members are KO, even when one of the dead persons is the second healer. I'm getting sick of watching healers spam broil or glare whilst people are dead on the floor. Healers DPS needs to be nerfed into the ground in the next patch so they actually do their jobs properly.
Ooh. That's a passionate MogMail, AJ. I feel like you might have done this just after a bad dungeon.
Yeah.
But I see some merit.
Malefic wasn't mentioned because people weren't playing Astrologian Chat. Probably when he wrote this.
Yeah.
Okay.
On healer mains.
Right, so I think I speak for Georgi as well when I said that we fundamentally disagree. Being a bad healer is one thing. That's fine. That's a bad healer. Someone who will prioritize DPSing over healing when someone is dying. That's just a bad healer. That they playing their class wrong.
Yeah.
That translates to all classes. No one's going to play healer if you remove DPS. No one wants to just stand around and wait for a bar to drop and then cast a heal.
That's essentially what they did at the start of this expansion, and look how many people stopped playing healer.
Yes. Not having nerfing DPS. Imagine the queue times, because no one would play. It would be bad for everyone. So it's better to have a bad healer than to have no healer at all. But that's not to say bad healers are bad. They should learn their job or play a different job. You are a healer, so healing is important.
People should be learning to... They should understand how much damage is going to be output before they start lying back on DPSing all the time. A lot of the times, they can end up... And a lot of times, especially in trials and normal raids, just because a healer's DPSing doesn't mean they don't know that people are KO'd. Some of the times they're waiting for the opportunity to raise them if they don't have Swift cast up, or they're waiting until they get Swift cast up before they will raise someone. Because there is the argument that yeah, healer DPS is not as good as having that DPS up themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But if that is going to put us in danger directly, it's not worth it for us to make that sacrifice.
Right. Yes. It's very
Plus, maybe you
situational.
died like 17 times in a row and they can't be bothered to res you anymore.
I
think
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's what I always think. I always think about the when you're in a plane. They tell the oxygen masks. Put the mask on yourself before you help the person next
Yeah.
to you, because if you faint, the other one's dead too, right?
Yeah.
So that's how healers work. We prioritize our own health and then the rest of the party, right?
Yeah.
So
Because
It's
a
very
dead healer's not healing anyone.
yeah,
Yeah, it's similar to the priority that the Scholar Fairy will go in. It will always go in its owner, then tanks, I think, and then
yeah,
DPS.
yeah. If a DPS requires excessive healing or res, they are the ones who've done something wrong.
Usually, yes.
The healer is not to blame for you standing in an AoE and taking damage. If it's the raid wide,
Yeah.
sure, the healer will throw out the AoE heal, but you shouldn't die to a raid wide.
People need to also be more. This is a problem with everyone. People need to be healers do this as well. People need to be careful when they accept raises, because
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
a healer will raise you if it's convenient for them, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have the heals afterwards.
We
Think about the fun.
we expect you to read the situation. Like, will the healer be
Yeah.
able to heal me after this? But if there's like a big fucking flaring AoE coming up, they will not
Yeah.
be able to heal you. So you have to think
And
a
when you
little yourself.
accept a raise, don't immediately do an instant cast ability on a mob, because you will lose
Yes,
your
Yeah.
this.
Yes, because like if a lot of the times when bosses do massive raid wides, that's an opportunity for us to slow raise someone. Don't immediately attack before the raid wide happens.
Right.
After
Yeah.
you accept the raise, generally try and accept the raise after the attack happens.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, there seem to be, because I don't heal very much, but there seem to be two types of dungeons I get in this game. There's the one where people are taking so much damage and I get frustrated at the GCD
Yeah.
that I can almost barely heal them enough. And there are some where I barely have to heal.
Yeah, right.
That's the idea.
So in the good ones where I'd barely have to heal, of course I'm going to try and DPS.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm not going to prioritize that over healing. And if I get like shouted at, you should DPS more, then that's not right.
Yeah.
a lot of the problem is every time you go into a duty finder group, it's a new group. You don't know the skill level of the people you're playing with.
Right.
So some people will always assume that the players that they're playing with are the best and that they won't need all this healing that other people need. Like, they have the perfect DPS rotation, they'll be able to take down the mobs quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas healers need to be able to realize, is this a slow group? Is this a faster group? Are they strong? Are they weak?
Yeah.
Are they good players or not?
And I agree with Twinbee in chat, because we have had 2 expansions plus the base game where everyone's been screaming at white mages to DPS or healers to DPS, and now when they actually do, we get screamed at again for DPSing. So it's very strange. I look at it like this: it's the same. You're asking of the same sort of thing of white, or I keep saying white mages and healers. It would be the same as removing all damage from Bard and like nerfing the DPS of Bards and Dancers so they only buff.
Yeah.
No one would play that. No one.
No.
So a healer DPSing is a gain for the party. The duty
Or
is
tanks to
finished.
no longer do damage with their rotation.
Yeah.
It just generates enmity.
It's just enmity.
I think it's also easiest to tell when a healer is messing up because people are dead.
Yeah.
Or people seem to have too much damage that's not being healed up.
Yeah.
Whereas with a DPS, it can be more difficult to tell if DPS is slow or the rotations aren't optimal. Or even with a tank, it can be a bit easier, like when they're losing aggro. But sometimes a DPS, unless you're directly healing them, you sometimes can't notice when they're not using cooldowns correctly.
Yeah.
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 But as a healer or a tank, your DPS is not the most make or break thing
No.
in the universe. You can do plus or minus X amount of DPS, and it won't really change the outcome of a fight that much, really.
Yeah.
As long as you focus on your job and put in the DPS when you're able to. Like
Yeah.
a tank is always doing DPS.
Yeah.
That's how the game works now.
Yeah.
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 A healer has to choose to do it, but they're going to do it when there's downtime.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do it when they have to heal. It's
A healer is
you've had some
DPSing.
bad groups, AJ. Okay?
Yeah.
You've had a lot of bad groups, but it's not how everyone plays the game.
Everyone, yeah. Again, yeah, and you notice it more with the healer because of their role. But it's yeah, we're DPSing to help the party. It's not. I don't understand. The healer DPSing isn't a problem.
Especially with White Mage. White Mage wholly can stun groups, which is also a form of damage mitigation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crowd control.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
it's
Oh
actually
holy.
quite useful.
Mwah. It's I don't understand this at all.
Unfortunately, Astrologians can't stun anymore.
No.
No, but they had their time in the sun,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. If they nerfed DPS to the point where it's pointless, I would not play healer anymore.
No,
And that comes from someone who's played healer since A Realm Reborn. There would be I hate, even though I'm not I'm not one of those that are like DPS crazy, but I hate standing around waiting to heal.
It's very frustrating when you don't have when you're not constantly rolling the GCD.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this attitude of making healers only heal is going to remove Red Mage from the equation, or at least they shouldn't have raise or heal then. The reason people have a Red Mage is because of the utility. It saves the healers a bit of MP.
Yeah.
And gets an instant res out every now and then. So why should Red Mages have to? We're a DPS. We shouldn't have to raise people or use our toolkit. It's dumb.
Yeah.
Just Summoner is on a similar
wavelength. Yeah. So that's it. Just because you've had bad healers does not mean that the healer class is bad because we've added DPS.
Yeah.
It's just a bad healer. Maybe they were used to playing DPS and they don't quite understand the healing job. That might be it.
I think there is a more clear delineation between DPS and healer now than there used to be.
Yeah. Remember, they did put more emphasis on healing because we gained. I actually technically didn't even gain any new DPS abilities. They just changed. To like a different aspect, and their damage was increased.
You got a new DPS ability.
What?
You got
Glare and Dia.
Misery.
Oh yeah, you're right. Misery. That's true. I got one.
I'm not gonna let you say that you didn't get any DPS abilities when I only lost DPS abilities.
That's true. That's true. I did get that. Misery is perfect. Although
don't use it though.
It's not something you can use often. So
no, it's every 90 seconds.
It's not going to be in the way, and you have to heal to actually get it. So
you should probably just stop healing and wait.
Energy drain is not new, chat. There's something they gave back to me.
Yeah, Georgie.
Yeah.
Stop complaining. You got loads of new abilities.
I did lose my AoE dots. Lost arrow 3. So
every healer lost their AoE.
Yeah.
I don't think Astrologian had AoE dots, but both Scholar and White Mage lost them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to manually cast that stupid. What's it? I can't combust on everything. Rubbish.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we have to do now.
It's horrible, isn't it?
It is horrible.
It's awful in a group if you can't AoE. It's really bad.
Yeah. I guess we disagree, AJ, but
sorry. I can see why you've obviously had a lot of bad dungeons. But get yourself in a group with a good healer and it won't happen.
But I
don't stand in AoE.
again just want to explain this. It consistently found that healers will continue to DPS whilst party members is KO. Or even when one of the dead persons is the second healer. Again, situational. Just so we're clear here. Maybe Swift Cast is off, like it's already on cooldown.
Yeah.
They can't res. They need to figure out how to, or maybe they don't have, they know that something's going to happen soon they need to move. They can't slow res. Like there's many reasons for that. I will never heal immediately when someone dies unless I have Swift Cast ready. And, I sort of know what's going on.
And DPS, especially if you don't play it in endgame content, is such a walk in the park because if you're playing the game legally, you've got no idea how good you are compared to anyone else.
Yeah.
So you just assume you're doing fine.
Yeah.
It's more easy to tell if you're where you're doing now just
because of the aggro thing. Yeah.
There's no aggro mitigation, so you can tell where you are in the aggro list. If you are consistently below a healer, You might want to look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
so many DPS never take the time to improve their rotation or learn how to play their class effectively, which is sometimes, several hundred to even 1,000 DPS difference, which is huge.
Yeah.
And yet healers have to learn how to heal effectively and weave in DPS to kill fights to make up for DPS loss.
Yeah.
And tanks have to learn mitigation and aggro management and tank swaps. It's an easy rise of DPS.
Yeah.
Healers generally have to be, especially in endgame content, have to be aware of every single mechanic.
Yeah.
Because unless the mechanic does no damage when successfully resolved, healers generally have to heal in response to things.
Yeah, and you've got to, sometimes there might be like a tank buster crit and you've got to suddenly change your whole ideas about what to do suddenly.
Yeah.
So healing's pretty reactive and quite tough.
Yeah.
It's a very scary job to play. And that's why there's not many healers. So maybe make them feel a bit more welcome and comfortable in the game.
Yeah.
So there's more healers in the future rather than less.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there you go.
But thank you, AJ.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you, AJ.
We will.
It's an interesting discussion.
It's an interesting discussion, and I can see your point of view on it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Next is from.
Is this Bababali?
Wrong. Wrong. I
thought it
wonder
was
what's
gonna be
next.
Bababali.
Wrong. Sorry, we're getting spoilers here. Why is this one wrong? Hold on.
Who are you?
Be quiet.
Oh.
Not be quiet. I didn't mean to say be
Okay,
quiet.
no,
I was talking to the
Dead
program.
You said you wanted more of it.
I was talking to OBS. Sorry.
Bababali.
No, wrong again.
Bababali.
Vanilla Muffin. This is a spoiler. Sorry.
This is a spoiler.
Let's see here. This is the one. Oh, sorry. It's because it's been incorrectly numbered. There we go. Bababali.
Yay!
Oh, is this the right one? Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, speakers. With the established pattern of 2 Disciples of War, Disciples of Magic Beast Tribes, and 1 Disciple of Hand, Disciple of Land Beast Tribe, which tribes on the first do you suppose will fill each of those roles, and what their storylines may be? Do you think the Mikote from the Allied Beast Tribe quest will somehow appear in the first for their Allied quest?
Well,
Yeah.
Numo, Fae, and Dwarves are the most likely
pixies.
ones. Or pixies,
Pixies.
sorry, yeah. Are the most likely ones. Although I wouldn't be... I wouldn't mind if... what are they called? Amaro?
Amaro.
The Amaro.
They would be lovely to have a storyline to deal with, but...
I don't see it being the Amaro. The problem I have... Because it has to be... It's most likely going to be the Nemo and the Pixies. The problem I have with resolving that is the Nemo and the Pixies are in the same zone, which has never happened with Beast Tribe quests before.
That could be awkward.
I don't know where they would go.
Yeah.
I don't think any other races would be happy about Pixies, especially appearing in zones other than Ilmeg.
Right.
No way. No.
But
But there's not many other tribes in any other areas, right? There's dwarves, obviously, in Kalusia, so that's fine.
yeah.
Rakdika's got just the Knights Blessed and
Yeah.
the Viera people, the V.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
It could be one of the
There's the
first
Ondo.
versions of... Yeah, there are the first versions of Beast Tribes we've already seen. There's the
Yeah.
Ondo, there's the Maud.
The Ondo, I am not going to do them.
You get a first
Why
version
not?
of the Elpst.
I can't
No, we'll get another
stand
flatfish
the
to
Ondo.
kill.
They are awful. I had never liked Sahagin,
Well,
and now
like
they're
the
back, but
Sahagin.
green.
rude.
Green is a
I
better
mean,
color.
I don't mind the quest line; it's cute, but I hate seeing all their
Yeah.
stupid sauces. Oh god,
Yeah.
spare me.
I feel like it's gonna be like some of the Fae folk are gonna definitely be gathering, maybe because it's very gathering oriented, that land,
think
because
the
there's the
Nemo-
shrub, like the bush people. There's like one of them with the
Oh god, yeah.
the mine.
I can see
pickaxe.
that. I think the Nemo are more likely to be Disciple of Land / Hand.
Yeah.
I think Numo are going to be Disciple of Handeland, but then that makes you think, what the hell are the dwarves going to be? Because they're very much that as well.
Yeah.
But they're
They're
also
miners.
they're also very they do attack. They are very aggressive as well.
dwarves have a whole series of weapons
Yeah.
based on their
I suppose
craft.
maybe they could their quest line could be you're building an even bigger mechanical construct to take
Yeah.
on the other dwarves. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
The Nemo, maybe they could end up migrating to a subset of the tribe, migrating to Lakeland because they want people to serve, which they can't do when they live behind the pixies.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's interesting theory. I
Yeah.
feel like
Because
they're going to
remember-
be 6 months of petting them because that's all they want.
Because
Yeah.
remember, the Namazu Beast Tribes was in the Azim Steppe, not in Yancha.
Right.
True,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, you did end up going around the entire area,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which was annoying.
What about the Mikote from the Allied Beast Tribe quest? Do you think we'll see him again?
I don't see how, but
No, it was quite final the last time. Well, was it? It's
Oh,
kind of slapsticky.
every time he dies.
Yeah, he does.
He's fallen off airships. He's fallen off an airship once.
Yeah.
He's fallen off Azizla once,
Yeah.
and then he was blown up the last time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like Hildebrand light with him. So
Yeah.
I think, but how he will get to the first?
Well,
Yeah,
Hildebrand's
that-
meant to be getting to the first, isn't he?
Yeah. Well,
There's an explanation for that.
Yeah,
But
something happened.
Mailer
in Hildebrand.
wouldn't know.
Yeah.
No, but even so, they could come up with something for that.
No, but that at least with Hildebrand, it was foreshadowed beforehand.
that's true.
With this cat person, it was not.
Yeah.
Maybe it will be like the Wandering Minstrel, where you go from even you managed to get through here. It'll be like an alternative version of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I can imagine.
Yeah, that could be. Okay, we need to move on. Thank you, Babe.
Thanks, Bababali.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye. Next is Vanilla Muffin from Lich.
Delicious.
Delicious. Hi, guys. This isn't anything story related, I'm afraid, but I wanted to ask you this question regardless. So
Don't be
recently,
afraid.
my don't be afraid. So recently, my best friend started playing Final Fantasy XIV, but decided to play on one of the NA data centers instead, due to having more friends over there. What a foolish mistake to make.
Big mistake.
We talk a lot
Correct
about
choice.
we talk a lot about the game and our adventure in the Duty Finder, and we notice that the parties she runs into are usually very chatty, whereas my parties are usually just a simple hi in the beginning of the run and a GG thank you at the end. TY.
That's European stoicism.
Yeah, our conclusions was that it was a difference in mentality between the regions. Maybe players on North American data centers are more social than those on European data centers. Since both Georg and Rollo have experienced both sides of the coin, NA data centers, EU data centers, I would like to know if they have made any of these observations passively or actively, or if you haven't noticed anything in that regard. Maybe I've just been unlucky all this time in the 2 years of me playing this game. This might be a bit of a weird question, but I'm curious to hear your opinions regardless. Cheers, stay awesome. Thank you, Vanilla Muffin.
Go ahead then, Georgie.
Is it that different? I don't know. I feel like on both servers I will say hi at the start of a dungeon and good job guys, TY everyone at the
Yeah.
end, and then that's about it. Because I do have conversations on both. I think I'd probably say North America is maybe more chatty.
That's what I was about to say.
That in America, on the American server, for the most part, everyone will speak English, whereas that's not necessarily the case on the European
true.
servers.
That's a very good reason for it, and I think that's why. Because sometimes I don't even. If I see, sorry to all my European brothers and sisters, when I see you speak a different language than English, I tune out immediately. Because I know there is, if you introduced yourself in a different language, you've already told me that you don't speak English, and I can't
Salut.
speak your language.
I mean,
exactly.
it's in the nicest possible way, but if you say salut at the start of a dungeon, I know I'm going to be there for at least an hour or two.
No. Oh,
'cause
God,
my,
You were in a-
I'm joking.
You were in a Innocence Extreme farm party with a bunch of very good French people, and you were the
Very
first.
good French people. As in, they were skillful.
Yeah.
I don't mean morally good.
I don't think
But
that
they
was
probably
the
were
question.
as well.
So it's easier then to. I sometimes just use the wave emoji, like the
Yeah.
when the
Mm,
that's
I think
I was.
because they
I
understand.
feel as if on European servers, I feel as if I see more emotes. in general.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as if people are more likely to talk on the American servers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, every now and then you get a dungeon with like a really funny, chatty person. You can enjoy the whole experience. But I don't think that's ever the norm in Europe. And I doubt it's the norm in America.
It's more wholesome though when it happens in Europe because it's so rare. So when
Yeah,
someone gets like really chatty, you're like, that's nice.
It often happens with new people. They're like, oh, new to this dungeon.
I'm like, oh, bless.
And then people are like, oh, let's touch them and make their experience good.
Yeah.
If generally, if you talk to me, I'll talk to you back.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people have that attitude, which is why no one ever talks in dungeons.
Yeah. Everyone's waiting for the other one to talk.
Yeah. Well, everyone else is trying. If no one's talking, it's a job.
Yeah.
We're here for one goal.
Yeah.
We're in and out.
But then if you do get spoken to, don't ignore people as well. That's rude.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, we don't talk outside of this. This is all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
This is it. This is what we do. This is the only time we talk.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I think it's just a cultural thing, but also I see from chat that some people are like, I never see anyone talk in NA. It might just be.
I think your friends has been lucky.
Yeah.
I think Crystal is very talkative. I'd say Crystal is far more talkative than, at least when I was on Ether. I mean, obviously some of the people on Ether were now on Crystal.
Yeah.
But I would say overall, I feel as if chat has gotten more talkative since I have been moved to Crystal.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Vanilla Muffin. From Lich.
Delicious muffin.
Right. So we are at. We have a problem.
Oh, we do.
Yes.
I feel like we can't skip something that we've already teased.
I agree.
Yeah.
So we are just going to eat into the post show with our great.
Don't worry, guys. There's
discussion.
loads of Harry Potter quizzes.
We will get to the post show probably. So for a short time, maybe a tiny mini post show at the very end.
We might have to cancel Mailer's Harry Potter quiz.
Yeah,
I
sorry
know
to
that's
say.
terrible, but I'm sorry, guys. We need to sacrifice a few things for the greater good. For the greater good. Here's the great discussion, and the topic is Elidibus on the moon. Oh, Elidibus. What a fool.
On the moon.
On the moon. Right, where when Shadowbringers concluded, I should say spoilers, just so we're safe. Spoilers.
Yeah.
At the end.
I mean, we've said many spoilery things before this point in the show.
Yeah. Elidibus was on the moon in the last one, almost the last cutscene, looking over Hydaelyn. And initially, I just thought he's being an idiot because literally the last thing he says is, one of the last things he says is, Warriors of Darkness is going to fall to like the Warriors of Light or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is basically the same shit he did before, but reverse. But there are some questions left unanswered here. Mainly, how much does Elidibus know of what has happened? How much does he even have control now? Does he even know what's happening? Is he like, how much power is left? And does he know who we are? And also, what's up with the fucking moon?
I mean,
that's fair.
I'll quickly say, I don't think Elidibus knows who we are yet.
No.
I don't think he was able to see what was happening in Amarant with us and Emmett.
No.
No. But we don't know who we are either, so it's fine.
Well, we have, between Hythlodius and Emmett Selk, I think we have reason to suspect there's something special about us beyond being the Warrior of Light.
We're
really
thick.
stupid, Georgi. We're incredibly stupid.
We are very stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got like a sponge brain.
Yeah.
You'd think Sponge would be more able to absorb information.
No, because it's completely wet, slick from all the useless information we have.
Yeah.
Like collect 5 iron ore.
Where do we start with this, by the way? Where do we start with Elidibus?
Well, what he's been up to during Shadowbringers, I guess.
Mhm.
He's been
that's-
inside Xenos' body,
Yeah.
and then he's basically done absolutely nothing with it.
He was forwarding
Well-
his plan originally,
Yeah.
right? He was waging war against... He was pushing for Black Rose.
He seemed
Yeah.
he seemed to be working on the Black Rose half of the plan while Uematsu was working on the collapsing the first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he even states in the last cutscene that he did not expect Xenos to interrupt
Be
him
able
the
to-
way he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he left Xenos' body so that Xenos could go back into Xenos' body,
Yeah.
and then Elidibus went into his normal body and went onto the moon. It's very simple.
Yeah. It seems like he has lost control.
He seems like a
Yes.
broken man.
Yeah.
Like, he just doesn't. He's like
in
he's like
denial.
he's losing or something, and he's just gone against the grain. Like, no, I'm definitely going to win. I'll just keep doing the same thing over and over again, and eventually it'll win.
Yeah.
He's definitely
I
not
mean-
following plan.
I'm curious as to how frustrated he is about both La Habrea and Emet being gone, because they were the only other two complete Ascians. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
none of the Ascians really show us emotion, even when and until the very end, Emet was pretty unemotional in
Yeah.
everything he told us.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Elidibus has always been very different from them, though. He showed himself to us as a friend early on in the game.
Yeah.
It was very odd.
mean, I think Elidibus has always been trying to differentiate himself by the fact
Yeah.
that he wears a white robe.
Yeah.
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 But he's also the emissary,
Yeah.
as his
Yes.
title, which he does question, and you've got that. You took a few pictures just to remember everything, but he does question whether he is the emissary. It's like, oh, what does that title mean now?
Yeah.
So it's almost like even he's doubting the vision of the Ascians.
Was emissary his role when he was part of the Council of 14?
Must have been, because they're titles, aren't they?
No, well,
Elidibus
Oh no,
is a
but, right,
title.
yeah, Elizabeth. Maybe it came
But
after.
they all, as far as we know, the original 14 Amorotines all seem to focus in various schools,
Yeah.
as you learn from
Yeah.
Academia and Ida. Like La Habrea, the original La Habrea was as a scholar in phantomology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he's alone now.
Yeah,
He is alone.
So he has to carry out the plan that they all decided on at some point alone. But he has to make adjustments, which is, I think that is why he's literally just flipping the script again. He's doing the opposite of what he did before with the Warriors of Light fighting the Warrior of Darkness. This might just be a sign of him just losing control. Like, he is out of ideas.
he's always claimed to be about a certain, like, maintaining balance, but I
Yeah.
don't understand how he can reconcile that with the fact that he's still also trying to resurrect Zodiac.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That... He also... There's also a thing he says about Hydaelyn, where he talks about... what was the... Let's get this right so we don't fuck it up. I have the quote. Under...
Just gotta go past the
Yeah,
Glockenspiels.
just gotta go back to Glockenspiels here. Hold on for a second. Here we go. There's some meat and there's a brain. Okay, let's see here.
Don't.
Right, he says, you have wrested the advantage, Hydaelyn. The thieving hands of your disciples tighten their grip on our star. The origins of the world remain hidden, and its inhabitants ignorant of their broken existence, just as you and your creators desired.
So it's like the 12 who summoned Hydaelyn made it so that everyone on each of the shards would be completely unaware of the actual truth, including ourselves.
So one theory I've seen is that the the reason that the 12, that we and the remaining 12 people that summoned Hydaelyn separated and wanted to summon Hydaelyn originally and prevent Zodiac was that original Amaritine summoning was putting a strain on the planet. And that they summoned Zodiac so that they could continue doing that. But we realized that that was a problem, and that by making Hydaelyn make us ignorant of the fact that we used to be like that, we would continue to defend the planet in a way that protects its ether, which was not being protected when the Amaritines were around.
That is a good theory. That makes a little sense. Yeah, that the people that summon, because they want to live. I mean, they obviously wanted us to live like this, ignorant. Because maybe what we have now is a better world technically than what the original world was. But we are only being painted a glorified picture by Emmett Selk because he does not understand that it was bad. That's interesting. They did talk about this weird, wasn't it the weird ringing sound or whatever in the...
That's what my theory regarding Elidibus, or at least some Asians, comes back to, is that Emmett Selk, when he told us about Amarant, he always seemed very genuine about the fact that he believed that the Amaritine people were essentially positive people, good people that were trying to do what was best for the planet.
Yeah.
Whereas I think and that they summoned Zodiac to protect Amaritine society and what was the unsundered world.
Yeah.
I think Elidibus, or maybe not Elidibus, another Ascian, but most likely Elidibus because he's the only one left, created that sound so that he could bring the consecration of 14 together to summon Zodiac and sort of bind society together under something's control.
Okay. Yeah.
Because otherwise, where would the sound come from? We still don't know where the sound comes from.
No, we don't. They just said like from the planet's core or whatever, and that's the vague.
Yeah.
But that's vague, and
it could be like a disruption in the ether or something. But that would be unusual.
Because we know that Amaritines, to a certain extent, had the ability to create whatever they wanted.
Yeah. But they would create things in balance, right? They would make sure that there was originally they well, did they have a concept of ether the way we do? Do we remember if they
I don't think they talk about etherology.
No?
In Academia United, the three things we learned that they knew about were ichthyology,
which was fish.
Yeah.
It's not they don't call it herbology, but it's related to plants.
Yeah, like Madame Pomfrey teaches.
Yeah. It's like,
yes.
Yeah.
And Madame Sprout, sorry.
Phantomology. I want to say phantomology is the closest to what we have to our understanding of etherology.
Okay. Yeah.
Phantomology was related to the summoning of beings into the world.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's... Yeah. I don't know.
Because remember, Emmett Selk was also our friend, whereas I feel as if Elidibus may not have been.
Yeah.
Or at least was neutral towards us.
He does feel like the odd one out of the whole story of the crew.
Elidibus has been friendly to us at times, but
he
obviously doesn't like us.
He doesn't.
No.
He's manipulative. He's very... He doesn't like us at all.
I mean, La Habrea always hated us.
Yeah.
And was very open. He's been a bit more coy.
I think there's a very interesting gap in our information in regards to our relationship with La Habrea.
Yeah,
I don't know if we'll ever find out
think.
about it. I'm still really disappointed La Habrea died when he did.
Yeah,
because
I'd have liked
knowing what we know now, and the fact that he was one of the 3 unsundered Ascians, that's really important. And he died when he was absorbed by Thornton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really bad.
Yeah, I guess they didn't obey the laws of equivalent exchange. I guess that's kind of why things went the way they did. I don't know. Yeah, I guess they didn't balance at all. They didn't have an idea of having to balance stuff out.
Yeah. And that's where...
Yeah, go on.
that's where I resolve it with the theory that like that's why the 12 summoned Hydaelyn so that people would be ignorant and then stop summoning things without any respect for the amount of ether in the world.
Right. That is interesting. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see.
I don't know if the sundering was on purpose in that case, though.
No, the sundering can't have been on purpose. It's too...
I think it's a very desperate attempt.
Yeah. Because there was no guarantee that it would go the way it did. It could have just been complete annihilation, an apocalypse of just the planet just disappearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting theory. It's kind of like the 12 theory where pieces are still missing.
Yeah.
Again, I think I mentioned this before. It does remind me of the initial 1.0 theory where there's like this presence deep inside the planet's core. The storyline that they abandoned, and it was rumored to be a primal, but Koji couldn't really tell because he wasn't sure if it was going to be carried on or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, there could have been maybe something from that original storyline might have been put into the first storyline, for instance. That's the first thing I thought about when he said like there was a deep ringing from the core. Like something's in there.
I agree with chat. I hope that we know all the players in the story at this point, and they don't introduce some new surprise third entity that will act as the final boss in the...
It was actually Mega Hydaelyn who was the forebear of all of this.
It was Genova.
Oh god, yeah, that'd be... It was Sephiroth.
In 6.0, I can see if Elidibus was involved with whatever caused that sound, I could see the final boss of 6.0 being the thing he created that made that sound originally.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. True.
Isn't
6.X
meant to be the wrap-up for the whole Asian storyline?
Yeah. Well, from what we've been told anyways, from what we've read from Yoshi P's interviews.
It's going to be very, very quick-paced then from now on.
Well, not really, because you have to consider 6.0... I'm assuming the end of 6.0 will be the actual conclusion.
Suppose, yeah. Point.
It's possible Elidibus or Xenos could be the final boss of 6.0, and then the raid series concerns the sound making whatever it is from the Earth.
You think that they might bring back story-focused raids?
I think that's what Eden is, isn't it?
Semi, but I think they're probably like dipping their toes in the water just to see how it fits.
Possibly.
Because it's not like super engaged within the story because it's separate from the world. It's its own little oasis out there, but it is also story focused. So
yeah,
that could be fun because it'd be nice to go back to the Bahamut era, where it mattered, and it's not just especially with Omega. That one was very.
Omega
very
is
poor.
interesting because it has essentially locked Midgard's form out of the story.
That was weird, and I didn't like that really.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you could have missed that.
Yeah.
Obviously, no one did, because why would anyone not do that?
I mean, they can get away with just not having Midgard's anyway, but just like saying that he doesn't bother helping us anymore. But by having Omega in there, it gives us a very definitive reason why he's not helping us.
Yeah. Also, chat mentioned why do Zodiac and Hydaelyn look like elementals in the cave painting? I think that's a weird because this is the thing. What do elementals look like in the 12's Wood in Our Realm Reborn? Have we seen them, or are they just mythical?
Aren't they?
Okay. I don't think we've seen any elementals.
In 1.0, we see them, and they look exactly like Hydaelyn and Zodiac.
Because the 1.0 elementals turned into Anima.
They reused the model for Anima.
It was like a whispering.
The Eureka elementals too. They look exactly like the 1.0 elementals. Is that some sort of... It doesn't really indicate anything, but I do think it's interesting because they could have made a whole new model for them. Or a design, but they decided to go for a shape we have seen before in multiple variations, both as anima and elementals. And now we associate them with Hydaelyn and Zodiark as well.
There's always the possibility that people had seen elementals, though, as like this really primal thing, and they'd just use that. Because obviously it's just a cave painting, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
But
In my mind, they're both giant crystals.
But are there any proof of elementals existing on the first?
Maybe in the old days.
Possibly.
Maybe not.
It doesn't look like they ever existed in the Raktika Greatwood.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's you could never say, really.
No.
Maybe when it was first created, there was a little bit more ether around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know the elementals are invisible. I just thought maybe there was like a side quest where you got to see one. But yeah, they're weak after Dalamud.
I'm worried that the visual connection between elementals and Hydaelyn and Zodiark will never be touched upon.
Possibly not.
Possibly not.
Because at least as of right now, I see no real connection between the two of them.
But it is interesting though, because I have a feeling if that is their actual shape, someone has actually seen Hydaelyn, and at some point they saw them when they summoned them. They have seen the true form of Hydaelyn and Zodiark.
It's possible that these are myths that were recorded afterwards, and that only the people that summoned Zodiark, the 13 that summoned Zodiark and the 12 that summoned Hydaelyn, are the only people that actually know what they look like.
Possibly.
That's true. But Emetselk, or Hades, has a staff with the elemental
That's true. Looking
on it.
Zodiark on it.
Zodiark.
It's a bit
And that's
different.
also
It's
what
not
you
exactly
see in
the same.
the chrysalis.
It is definitely the swirly elemental. I'm pretty sure. Chat?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Because the same that you see in all the cutscenes around the chrysalis era.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So
If let's just imagine that the final boss of the game is Zodiark, how do you imagine it looking in that fight? As a giant purple crystal?
right.
I mean, I didn't expect Emetselk to look like. I didn't expect Emetselk to look like Hades in the final fight, so
No.
I don't know if I necessarily can predict.
It makes sense though, because what are elementals?
Not really sure. I'm not a white mage.
They're basically made of. It's hard to explain.
They're the wardens
They're
of the
the
12
will
wood.
of the woods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're the will of the woods. They're made of the elements, then hence the name elementals, which means maybe they're created in Hydaelyn's image,
Possibly.
because what is of Hydaelyn's ether but Hydaelyn herself, and that's what they're weaved out of.
The problem I have with that is that the morality of the elementals of the 12s would seem so at odds with what we know about Hydaelyn.
They're very weird, aren't they?
They're very aggressive,
Mm.
but they are
I mean,
protecting the woods.
Hydaelyn's never turned away like Alamegans or anything.
No, that's true.
And why the woods?
But you have to remember that these are the 12's wood. This is like where the 12... Isn't this
It is
like...
interesting they're called the 12s wood.
Yeah, I know.
That's probably just because of the sanctum.
In the same woods, the Mughals claim to have served the 12. So
That's
the 12
true.
are very tied to
When
this
did they-
area.
When did the Mughals last say that? I don't.
The
'Cause
Mughals in
I
the
personally
Churning
don't remember
Mists.
that in 2.0 onward.
Might have been a
Probably
1.0
Heaven's
quote. Was it Heavensward? Okay.
Well, remember in
Okay.
Heavenswood they talk about the Mughals descending from the Churning Mists down to the 12's Wood, and they had that whole meeting between the Mughals of
Yeah.
the 12's Wood and the Mughals of the Churning. It was very odd, but they
Yeah.
had the same
Yeah.
backstory, which made you start to believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very... That's not... Oh, God. More 12 story.
The 12's actually been ingrained in every single expansion pretty much at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah.
Even
But it's
Stormwind was
very
very
subtle.
focused.
Very subtle.
Very subtle.
Yeah.
But if you start piecing it together,
Mm-hmm.
it's always been there,
Yeah.
always in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
If Mughals know more than they say, it makes me want to hurt them even more.
Oh god, yeah, I'd tear their palms off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they do. But they're so... How old do Mughals get again? How old are they? Do we know the
I-
lifespan of a Mughal?
I think they're eternal.
They are in.
They're
They
not.
are.
I've never seen an old Moogle or a young Moogle.
They're
I've
not
seen
eternal
a fat
because
Moogle.
the king in Moghome is like the descendant of the original king that seemingly
Yeah.
the ones in the 12s would remember as their god,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. They're very. I think they could live a long time.
Yeah.
Mm.
How old is Good
Not
King
that they
Moggle
make-
Mog?
He's a primal.
No,
I mean,
he's not technically a primal. This was dispute. This is why everyone
I mean, what do
hated
you-
Good King
what do
Moggle
you-
Mog because he broke.
what do you mean by
the
a
lore.
primal? He is. He is a primal in the way that he's summoned.
Yeah, he's not the actual.
but he's
Good
not.
King Moggle.
He's not a primal. If you read the lore book, even it goes like it's strictly not a primal. I remember this being a big lore discussion with Koji Fox when this was released because everyone like this doesn't fit the fucking primal lore. Remember this?
Well, he's summoned by his.
Yeah, just like Shiva isn't Shiva, I guess. But
Shiva's
Well, yeah, but
very
I think-
different.
I think they're still summons. I think that they still have the same effects. I feel like this is just an argument of nomenclature.
he's not an
Yeah.
ether-sucking primal. Yeah, there's something about that. He's not
Does it
like
say that? Because I don't remember that. Because the people in Gridania essentially say we want him dead because he's doing damage to the 12s would.
Yeah.
yeah, he's doing damage to the 12 wood, but he's not because he's reckless. He's a fucking idiot.
He's certainly not.
He's
the
not
actual
real.
Good
He's
King
not the
Moggle
good.
Moggle.
He's
So
not the actual
No.
king.
He's
He's
for all
there-
intents and purposes a primal.
Yeah, but he's
He
not
is there-
strictly speaking a primal. I'll see if I can find it.
He is their perception of what King Moggle was
Yeah.
like in
Yeah,
the same way
I
that
guess.
Shiva is Zell's perception of what Shiva was like.
Yeah, yeah.
And like Tsukuyomi is actually just Yotsu corrupted by the kami in the mirror.
Yeah.
But it's still the same idea. She was summoned with crystals, and then they had the powerful artifact as the catalyst or whatever.
Yeah.
I think the definition of a primal went way out the window a while ago.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think King Moggle was the first. It was introduced. I don't know how it relates in 1.0, but in 2.0, I think they used Moggle as like they introduced him as the example that you have, so that you know that primals aren't necessarily all just gods.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what it was. Depicted in legend as the last king of Mugglekind, the story of Good King Moggle the 12th tells us of how he helped his people flee to the world below, while he alone remained in the heavens. Long believed to be the invention of fairy tales, his all-too-real manifestation is answer to the fervent prayers of the Mogglesguard. I don't know if that's a typo. Is that what it's called? Mogglesguard?
Oh, yeah, the Moggle's Guard, yeah.
Sent
Oh, no,
ripples-
actually, no, it might be the Moogle's Guard. I can't remember now.
Sent ripples of confusion through the halls of academia. In the face of such undeniable evidence, however, good King Moggle the 12th, may his royal appetite for ether lead us not unto oblivion, became the first recorded case of a non-deific entity summoned in the manner of a primal.
So he's not
So,
a
yeah.
god, but he is.
Yeah, but he is. They're
he's-
essentially saying he's a primal.
Yeah,
I guess.
but he's not worshipped like a god. He's seen
He's
as
not a god.
No.
person.
I
He's
mean,
just
it's
a
the same
king.
thing.
They summoned a king as a primal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hildebrand summoned Enkidu as a primal.
Yeah.
I think that's.
I feel
yeah.
like this might be
Not
a
Hildebrand,
Realm
Hildebrand.
Reborn rewrite
Gilgamesh.
because I specifically remember
Yeah.
in 1.0 there being
Also-
something else here.
Look at like Thordan. He summoned like an old version, like
Yeah.
the original king.
Yeah,
Thordan,
yeah.
and that was essentially a primal because he wasn't actually him.
Mm-hmm.
It's really muddied now.
Yeah.
Well, he used the prayers and beliefs of like thousands of years
Yeah.
of Ishgard.
Exactly. Yeah.
Didn't Yoshi P also say this in a recent interview we read that they had muddied the way primals are summoned now is a little. It's not consistent anymore. They've sort of
No.
they'll just go, I want this to be a primal, figure it
Yeah.
out, and then
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just do something to make that fit.
Yeah.
It was stricter before, and I think that was where the original Good King Moggle outrage came from, because
Yeah.
we thought we had an idea of how to summon primals.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the shape of Hydaelyn and all that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the first time we've seen a visual representation of at least Hydaelyn Zodiac has been in our face the whole time, but I just never
Yeah.
linked it to like an elemental when I saw it the first time.
Mm.
So that might be why the elementals look the way they look. They might just be like reflections of Hydaelyn, or like it's her shape or whatever. Even though, because maybe Hydaelyn loves everyone on the planet. Well, at least that's what we've been told, that she loves all living
Yes.
life. The elementals might still be following her will, like doing what she's ordered, but it's easy to just have someone else do it, so that Hydaelyn doesn't have to be the one go like, fuck off from my woods, fuck off. It's better to have
possible.
these mean elementals do it instead. We don't know the
problem
extent of Hydaelyn's powers in that sense, I guess.
The problem I have with the perception that Hydaelyn is not or necessarily as good as we think she is that we thought this before Shadowbringers,
Yeah.
and nothing in Shadowbringers so far has made us really question that she is still like all loving in that way.
Yeah.
I feel like this would have been when we would find out that Hydaelyn is not necessarily as good an entity as she claims to be.
I would be very sad if it turns out that everything Emmett Selk has implied is true. Like that Hydaelyn is not the loving, caring... I mean, I know already that that's not the case, because surely he's not... all of this is not lies. It's, you know, he's right about stuff. But because think about answers. That's supposed to be the mother crystal singing to its
That's true.
children. But with that in mind, you should listen to the song again, having that in the back of your head, because it becomes a little more ominous when you listen to the lyrics. If you know that there's something we don't know about her in the back of your mind, do that after this show. Anyways, we are running out of time. But I think we got a lot of... There's also the moon. I feel like we talked about the moon a lot, but just once and for all, what is the significance of the moon? Why the moon?
Because that's where Zodiac was cast off to.
Yeah.
Symbolically, at least.
And last time we've talked about the moon first, so we're not going to linger on this for too long, but there was someone, when we discussed this last time, that mentioned that the moon on the 1st is very visible.
I've not really gone to have a look.
I know. I looked at it after someone mentioned it, and I do have to say it's very detailed. But that might just be the skybox of the 1st.
Maybe we just have nicer skyboxes in Shadowbringers.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That might just be it. Because they wanted the night sky to look extra beautiful when you restored the darkness. So that might be that. But he was cast off as a lunar body, at least according to Eorzean lore.
Yeah.
So what that means...
But then, Eorzean lore obviously can't be that old, because Dalamud was part of that as well, wasn't it?
It was circling Menfina. Yeah, the moon. Yeah, the greater moon.
But then it turned out that was only an Allagan thing.
It was Menfina's hound. So that part of lore had to have been created sometime between the 3rd and the 6th astral eras.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not super consistent.
Wait, what are you saying? What moon has to have been created?
Dalamud.
The lore, but Dalamud was created by the Allagans in the 3rd astral era or thereabouts, whatever. So the lore where it's Menfina's hound and the whole Zodiac was cast off, and then Dalamud was its hound. Must have come after.
Yeah, but there have this was in an interview. This was confirmed as an inconsistency in the lore, because this was a necessary thing that they had to do to move the plot along, because initially in 1.0, spoilers for the Roar episode, maybe I just should spoil the whole episode and not make the episode, you got Allagan runestones, and they had Menfina with Dalamud on it, but these stones were carved in the early days of the Empire, which means the Dalamud project had not even started. They weren't even thinking about it, because and that's also a thing. The Allagans believed in the 12 originally, and then they stopped believing in gods. But that's an actual lore inconsistency because of what happened to 1.0. So that is confirmed. So
Do you think
we
we'll
shouldn't
have
read too much
existed
into
in
it.
all the ages? Do you think there'll have been an us in the Allegan era, but obviously we just don't know about it?
I feel like that's implied, right? That
Because it wouldn't make sense that we had only appeared
We appeared
now in
now.
the source. It doesn't make sense.
Mm.
So there must have been us in all the eras.
yeah.
It could have been us
Possibly.
who ushered in the prayers to bring magic into the world. It could have been us who did a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, Tenzin
Yes,
is implied to have been our previous incarnation, so yeah, we definitely seem to have been around. There's
Yeah,
always
we were
been
just
a
Asian
warrior
originally.
of light type of guy
Yeah.
walking
Yeah.
around.
Well, there's always been more than one warrior of light.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But do we know that there's been more warriors of light? Wait, on Hydaelyn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or does the story now imply that we have been all of them?
Well, we could have also been all of them.
Oh, you're talking about the original warriors of light after like Dalamud? Is that what you're talking about? Because that's a lot of people. Or wait, what are we talking about? I'm
I
lost.
think that's where Ramza was also a warrior.
Right, that's true. So they're
All
okay.
I'm saying is that I think there's been lots of us over the ages.
Yeah, that I
Us,
think.
But we just don't seem to have any recollection of it.
Yeah. Because how can we be the original one if we just came into existence?
Exactly.
The planet's been around for tens of thousands of years, probably.
Yeah.
I would be curious to. I think that might relate back to Elidibus saying that Hydaelyn wants us to remain ignorant. Maybe that is an important part of this cycle that we don't remember our past selves each
That's
cycle.
true.
Yeah, that would make
So
sense.
not only have we been split over all of the different shards, but there's been loads of us on each of the shards moving
Yeah.
forward through time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Was there a moon before the sundering? Oh, do we look up and look for... Oh, we should look up during the last part of the Amarot and the
I
dungeon.
feel like there isn't one there, but that could just be not. But then the planet's lit by something, and there's also no sun. I don't think.
Mhm.
I don't know. We'll have to go and look again.
Yeah. The 1.0 Warrior of Light and 2.0 Warrior of Light theory I don't understand, because it makes just as much sense that the 1.0 Warrior of Light is the same. The story still applies. I don't quite get it, but because we still don't know where the 1.0 Warrior of Light came from. He just appears,
Yeah.
just like you do in
Yeah.
A Realm Reborn. So
Yeah.
I'm sure, you can make a theory about that as well, of course, but that wouldn't make sense, and I know that's not going to be the case, because how many 1.0 players are left, really?
Think just you.
No, there are many out there, but there
You
aren't
can tell
as
them by their tramp stamp.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Unless they turn it off.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which
We are
they
looking
should.
at a reimagining. The moon not being there doesn't really mean anything. That's true. But
That's
if there
true.
isn't a moon, I mean, it is interesting. It is not. I don't know.
If there isn't a moon, it could imply he'd forgotten it. But if there is a moon, he'd have had to have purposefully put it there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have we talked about the legacy tattoo theory on this?
No.
I don't know if we have time to talk about it now.
We can mention it quickly. There's a theory that because the tattoo of the 12 is supposedly the mark of the 12, right? So
Yeah.
but it's not referenced. We don't see it anywhere in Eorzea other than on the backs of 1.0 legacy players.
Mm-hmm.
So the theory goes that that's our Asian mask symbol,
Oh.
and it kind of makes sense when you look at it.
That could work.
It's
Yeah,
a
why
whole
not?
other can of worms to open, so we can't really
Yeah.
dive too deep into that. But it is interesting. Although it will kind of... I mean, it doesn't mean that the Realm Reborn
It
characters
looks
don't
like
have
an
that
Asian
mask.
mask.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
it's
it
just-
does, yeah.
It just means that we never got it marked on us.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And it would further build on the we are one of the 12
Yeah.
theory, technically, that we have that symbol.
One of the original 14.
Yeah. There you have it. Okay. You guys think about that until we
about that.
meet again next week for
Minimum eye level.
I know there's minimum eye level, but I'm talking about no one on YouTube is gonna care. They will never see it. We'll see you next week for the next episode. Remember to send us MogMail, speakersxiv.com/MogMail. If you want to join in on this as well, you can send in your theories or your thoughts or ideas. Whatever you want, as long as it's something we can discuss on air. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull the dungeon. I have it right here.
Oh god, we're still doing that, are we?
Absolutely. So
Yes.
far, all of the cursed dungeons are still cursed, which is interesting.
Yep.
But we could get Wanderer's Palace hard again now.
But we have decided now that we will not use the wheel while Rollo is absent.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this time we might actually do it, unless he turns up tomorrow.
We are... Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Well, then we'll just spin the wheel tomorrow then.
I pulled
Yeah.
Copper Bell Mines, sorry. Forgot to put it out.
Nice. Going back.
Okay, here we go. We're going to... Oh,
Don't
actually,
say it.
Sastasha hard.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can beat that.
Let's see.
Yeah, we will not spin the wheel. So there's
mean,
that's
we're
the
heavily nerfed
that's the
last time.
modifier. 3-man. Right. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Speakers of
Thanks.
Hydaelyn. Remember to follow us on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, YouTube.com/SpeakersXIV, Twitch.tv/SpeakersOfHydaelyn, ! Discord in chat if you want to join our Discord server. If you're watching on demand, link is in the description. Remember to send us MogMail once again, speakersxiv.com/MogMail. We'll see you in the post show. If you're watching live, it's going to be a super short post show. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.